Hi everybody, this webinar is dedicated to the ePublication. Now with ES4 we have the ability to manage ePublications, HTML5 for your website, as for example ePub3 fixed layout for any kind of iTunes Store, Google Play Store, and the last one's still available since ES3, the DVL to build your own iPad application. So I connect into my ES4 using John Smith user. This user has a couple of profiles, but I'm using the production manager profile. Logging into the system. On your left, the view of my job. That is to say, here's my customer. And to overview collection and file system. File system is something new in ES4. First step is to create a new job. Here's the view of a job ticket. I have to give a name to my job. This job has 16 pages. At the top, you find a couple of items, of tabs. In fact, you have some technical information, just like the document workflow I'm using for this job. It is a simple approval cycle. I will upload a multi-page PDF, spread all the pages on the flat plan, and then just approve the pages. A project workflow, which is this one dedicated to my ePublications, some technical information linked to the job, and some customized item, as for example information of my customer, of a number of a job, and so on, or some information links to the ePublication, as for example this one related to the ePub3. In the general tab view, by default, I'm using this template, but as you can see, and that's one of the flexibility feature we have in ES4, you can easily manage a couple of templates for different jobs. Okay, so I just have now to save my job. So in the main view, we have a view of a flat plan. At the bottom, the view of a production list with a folder named media folder, in which I will upload some pictures and videos. You can, of course, customize this view, just displaying the view of a flat plan, or the list, or both. At the right side, you have a project view, document workflow, and project. On the project view, you can see my workflow to manage my three kinds of ePublications. Second step, upload my magazine. Thanks to ES4, now we have the HTML uploader, which is very easy to use because I can easily switch from one folder to the other, or I can use the drag and drop. So my ePublication is there. It's a multi-page PDF of 16 pages. So as soon as this document is uploaded, it will be split on my flat plan. And in a couple of seconds, we get the pages available on the flat plan. In the same time, I will use my media folder to upload some pictures. So, again, my uploader. Here I've got some view of Paris. Here is a video, corporate video of Dalim. So I'd like to upload all of them, pictures, videos, but also two buttons that I will use for my arrangement. So just now to upload again. During that time, you can see that my pages are nearly to be ready on the flat plan. If I click on one page and you switch to the document information, you can see my approval cycle. And this approval cycle has one user, John, who has to approve the pages. This item is just displaying information about my documents, PDF, normalization, or custom metadata information. So the document is ready. In ES4, if I'd like to get a first view of my document, I have the ability to use the virtual book view to get a very nice view. It's really based on the HTML5. It's a simple interface. You can get a view of the flat plan to switch from one page to the other. As you can see, you have some approvals at the top, and also you have the ability to add some notes. And as for example, on this page, I'd like to add a slideshow. And there, I'd like to add a video. Of course, I can approve the page or not. So it's very user-friendly interface, easy to use. Now I will take a look to my files. So it looks like ready. Pictures, video. For the video, ES4 is now able to manage annotation and some more advanced features based on the video. And as for example, just like as I did for my PDF, I can add some notes over the video and add the text. Add logo of Dalim. And you can see in the datetime that on the timeline, for each note, I've got this bar with a duration that I can set up there. I can move these notes in the timeline. And so, as for example, if I just play this, and the notes are just displaying during this time. So, and of course, you can do some approval on the video. So, this video is now approved. But my target is to bring some enrichment now in my e-publication. So, the idea is to select all the pages and use the dialog feature to bring enrichment in my magazine. Okay. So at the bottom left, you can see again your folder, your media folder. For the enrichment, I set up the interface so you just have the necessary tools and palettes to manage your enrichment. Here is a tool to add an enrichment. And so if I switch to the page number 2, I can see that I have to add a video. Okay, so I just have to select the video, drag and drop the video, and I'd like just to fit this video in the iMac screen there. It's okay. I will use some customization for this video. I do not want to get any border. I'd like to get a transparent fill background. I do not use the autoplay because in fact what I want to do is to use a button to launch the video. So what I have to do is drag and drop this button. As for example there, I will set up my border at 0, of course with transparency, and now I just have to add a link to this button with exactly the same customization, okay, and add an action. So it can be an action to a website, to an email, or to go to a page. But now I just want to use when I click on the button, I just want to launch my video in full screen. Of course, for that, I have to hide the video, okay? But I keep this video available just after that because I'd like also to control my enrichment. So if I add the video, I cannot control the enrichment in my magazine just after. So now I switch to the page number 3. I saw that on this note, for your information, in ES4 you have now a note panel to manage the notifications with a couple of very interesting features. You can reply to a note, you can blink the note, okay, the note is there. And so now I have to select all the pictures there and using the enrichment tool, drag and drop this picture on my page. And so I just have to scale with my screen with exactly the same customization without border, transparency, and that's all. And now, exactly as same for video, I will add a button, and this button has no border. It is full transparency also, and just now I have to add the link to add the action. So on the click, I will launch the slideshow in full screen without border. Okay, now it looks like ready. Of course, I have to bring some of an enrichment, and especially as for example for the table of content. I just focus on the first lines. I've got a palette dedicated for the table of content. So if you have a table of content coming from InDesign, from any software outside AWS, we are able to support this table of content. But as I can see, I've got nothing, so I'm using the capabilities of Dialog to extract the text. And so I just finally have to click on the sentence, just like this. It's not a game. And now, of course, I need to make the link. So I can see that for the first, it is page 6, so just have to select the page, drag and drop on this item, and the link is ready. So just have to do it again for the other sentences. Page 8, page 11, and the last one, which is page 14. This one. Okay, my table of content is ready. Of course, in Dialog, we have also ability to detect any kind of hyperlinks, web links, and emails. So I do not have to do this job. It's still ready. The last part of my job is to bring a link from the cover to an article. So as for example, I'd like to add a link with exactly the same customizations. And to make a link to my article, I just have to do exactly the same as I did for pictures and video. So here's the articles. I just have to drag and drop the page on the hyperlinks I just added. And so it looks like ready. For your information, you have, as soon as, for example, you did your enrichment, you can export this enrichment. It can be very useful if, just imagine you have another, the same looks like a magazine with the same enrichment. So you can export the enrichment and import it again. Just like as the table of content, you can export this table of content and import. As you can see, we are using XML files. So now I create the dialog. And the next step is what? Of course, is to approve all the pages. For your information, before the approval, I just will switch using, of course, the same login, but using my profile with the HTML5 dialog. So this is this one. So login again into the system. Something very interesting also in ES4, because some users don't have finally to get some too much details, that makes perhaps the things really too complex. So we embark some smart view, and here, as for example, is a smart view of documents. And so you can see that for my project, which is my magazine, I've got all these pages to need to be approved. And as for example, I will select the page number 2. You can see that on the top I can customize some actions, some menus, and some action. And as for example, this one, which is the dialog. And their dialog is just launching. It's so fast. So I just have now to, you can scroll from in the document or outside of the document. Okay, and of course you can see the note also available on the right, and you can approve the page or not. So for example, I'd like to approve this one. So what's happened? In my smart view, the page number 2 has been approved and not anymore displayed. So now I come back to my job. So what I wanted to do now, it's just to approve all the other pages. Okay, and now I switch to the project view. And so I set up the workflow so that as soon as every page has been approved, you have a milestone of approval. And this milestone, I just have to click on the green button. And what's happened? I've got a proposal to choose what kind of e-publication I'd like to get. So on my side, I'd like to get the iPad, ePub 3, and HTML5. So I select all. Waiting for this output, I can also get a view of my enrichment using, again, the VirtualBox view, so that you can see that my video is okay, my slideshow is there, so everything looks like ready. And in that time, just in a couple of seconds, my 3 e-publications are ready. ePub 3, HTML5, and DVL. I can also use the DVL application, virtual library, to get a view to this magazine. So we just have to synchronize my video. My magazine is there. So I can easily switch from one page to the other. I can control the enrichment. You can also test the search. Okay. Yes, it looks like okay. So that's a way to control your magazine and your e-publication. The next stage now is to build your iPad application, and for that we are providing an Xcode file, and this file is finally it looks like exactly what you need to build your application. So the setup is really easy. You just have to add your login and password, the feed of your seller. You have to choose, of course, for what. We are now able to manage iPhone application or iPad, whatever it is, Retina or not, all is set up for you. You have really nothing to do. You can also customize a couple of things, just like the icon of your applications. The application is available in 3 languages, German, English, and French. So now I just have to build the application. So here's a simulator of my iPad. I go to my kiosk. As you can see, I still have some publications, magazine of Dalim. I select the magazine 16. You can see that we can customize something that looks like the table of content. And so I just have to download my magazine. So you can see that it's already ready to manage your own application with your magazines. We are also compatible with the newsstand feature. And so if I now came back to the library, select my application. So you have a button bar to switch from one to the other. You have a table of content to go directly to one's article. Of course, you can zoom. And you can do some search. For example, a twist word. Okay. And for the enrichment, I can play the video just clicking on the button. Here's the iPad application. I come back now to my job. So we now have 2 other e-publications, one VC ePub, the other the HTML5. So the ePub, for the ePub, you just have to download your ePub free. The magazine is there. And to get a view of this ePub, now on my Mac, you have the iBooks applications. And so what I have to do is just to drag and drop my magazine in the iBooks application. And so you can see here the enrichments. You have couples of features exactly the same as the DVL. So you can do some search. You can add some bookmarks. You have, of course, the table of content. You have a thumbnail preview. And you can come back to your library. The idea for the ePub free fixed layout now is to, of course, to get a submission from your store, whatever it is, the iTunes Store, Google Play Store, or even Amazon. Amazon is now compatible since the last 3-4 months, and you can upload your ePub free without doing some conversions with the Mobi files. And the last one is of course the HTML5. So it's a container. So what you have to do is just to download this archive, which is there. What I have to do is just to unzip the container. So all my ePublication is there. So just to test this ePublication, I will jump to my web server folder, and it will be my webinar folder. And what I have to do is just to drag and drop the content in the folder. So here's the name of the folder. I will copy this name, and I just now have to switch to my web server, and the HTML5 book is ready. Okay, with enrichment. With my table of content. You can use the easy way to go for your magazine. It's ready. So this folder, I just have to be copy on your whatever, on your WordPress, on your website, and your ePublication is also ready. You have a second way to do exactly the same, is to use the sharing feature of projects. So select the HTML output, select a start and end date. My ePublication will be available as, for example, up to the end of this year. And just select OK. And this code, you can just copy this code and paste it on your website, on your CMS, and you get exactly the same results. Okay? So now, for this webinar, we go for a couple of features of the ePublication, and you can see that based on the PDF workflow, it's really easy to manage this ePublication. Just as I told you, I just want to explain you a little bit more some technical things, links to the workflow. So I connect again with I will use my admin. And what I did to do this workflow. So first of all, on the document workflow, I'm using something very easy, which is this workflow, just with one approval cycle, and at the end a send event. The send event is set up just like this, so I just add the parameter, this one, ePub123, and now in the project workflow, which is this one, I start my workflow with a wait event step with exactly the same parameter. So it means that as soon as all the pages are ready, the send event is synchronizing with the wait event of my project workflow. And here is the workflow to manage the ePublication. So I've got a milestone of this milestone of ePublication. This milestone is set up like this. You can see that it must be approved, and you remember that I select the button to launch, so the ePublication, and the layout of you saw is this layout. It is a layout of approval. Okay, just that. And so now I switch to the metadata. So the layout is there. Is this layout. So you recognize the free output, iPad, ePub3, and HTML5. Here's the new layout in ES4. You see that you have you can now set up a a layout for document, projects, really more features than ES3. And this one is the layout of approval, of course. And for the parameter are there. So you can see there, it's just some Boolean type of metadata, and that's all. So I come back to my workflow of my project. Okay. In this link, of course, what I did, I just tell to the system to make a connection to the metadata set I created, which is the ePub 3. Okay. So I'll let you take a look to this programming link, and I've got exactly the same for the others. I just have iPad and their HTML5. Okay. Then I just added milestones to display what I'm doing. Okay. And of course, in ES4 now you have to add a document step to bring the files in the production list. And at the end, I just have a milestone to show that the e-publication is completed. So which is now, of course, very useful in ES4. I can really send you this workflow. I just have to select this workflow and just do an export of my workflow like this. And here is my workflow of my e-publication. Of course, I can, if I want to get all the settings, I just have to go to my customer, select this customer, which is my customer, and I just have to do exactly the same to export the customer. When you export the customer in ES4, you just have to import this customer using the upload button, drag and drop this your workflow, and as soon as it's ready, you just have select, for example, I did some of them, ePub makers, for example, which is the same, and just import. And when you do import, it just brings you the information that some information is still there and it will be updated. And that's all. So here was a complete view of our e-publication in ES4. Thank you for your attention.